think that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can just sync it up in post. Alright, so, welcome to the much belated third episode of An Abridged Anime.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, podcast where we take a relative newcomer to the Elder Scrolls Pixel.
That's me.
And walk them through the different aspects of Elder Scrolls lore. I'm Scorpio, and with me is also Laudine.
Hello.
We're both longtime Elder Scrolls fans.
I've been playing for years and years.
Yeah, same.
Ever since I quote-unquote borrowed a copy of Oblivion from my friend in middle school.
Yes, borrowed.
I mean, to be fair, I did play Skyrim, which is a game in the series.
Jason, if you're out there, I'm sorry. I still have it if you want it. I can give it back, man. It's fine. I didn't mean it. I just forgot. Anyway.
Yeah. So, like the previous episodes, I'm going to open up with a quote, and then Pixel will glean what they can. Ideally, they'll get the topic.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
So our quote is from a Khajiit by the name of Reliet Har, Tender to the Main. Do you mean, where were the Khajiit when the dragon broke? Reliet tells you where. Recording it. 1,008 years, you've heard it. You think the Syra Nordics came up with that all on their own? You humans are better thieves than even Rajin. While you were fighting wars with phantoms and giving birth to your own fathers, it was the Main that watched the Jacques Kajay, because the moons were the only constant, and you didn't have the sugar to see it. I'll give you credit. You broke Alkosh something fierce, and that's not easy. Just don't think you solved what you accomplished by it, or can ever solve it. You did it again with Big Walker not once, but twice. Once at Rimmen, which we'll never learn to live with. The second time it was in Daggerfall, or was it Sentinel, or was it Wayrest, or was it in all three places at once? Get me, Cyrodiil? When will you wake up and realize what really happened to the dwarves?
Wake up, sheeple.
That's that quote is certainly something that's perplexing to me. I don't know, like, I feel like without the context, I have, like, a lot of trouble parsing what it actually means. Sounds like it's about something that happened a long time ago, but I don't know, it sounds... I don't know, it's perplexing. I'm not sure exactly what this is actually about.
Huh. So that first line, where were the Khajiit when the dragon broke? That should be a big clue.
Yeah, I mean, I assume it's related to the dragon break concept, but like I don't really know much about that beyond the fact that it's a thing that exists.
Alright, well, you managed to glean an important concept out of it, and we're going to be talking about the dragon break, the warp in the west.
Mm-hmm.
The big one, the one that everyone remembers.
The one that made orcs people too.
People 2, the sequel.
So yeah, the warp in the west is basically like it's like the general term for the great big space-time fuckery that occurred at the end of Daggerfall.
Right. Daggerfall, was that the one about the like the ghosts that were trying to basically solve their own murders, or am I thinking of the wrong thing?
You're thinking of King Lysandus, who was slain in battle, supposedly.
I see. Because Daggerfall is also that one game that's like incredibly big, right? Like it's like the size of like Great Britain or something.
Yeah.
It's a pretty large world, yeah.
A lot of it is like randomly generated content. However, it's still fairly impressive for its time, like running on Windows DOS.
Yeah, Arena and Daggerfall were on DOS.
Yeah, MS-DOS, and they made it work.
So yeah, the guy, you're talking about a ghost trying to solve his own murder. Yeah, that's King Lysandus, who was actually murdered the night before the battle he was claimed to died in. He was assassinated, and then his spirit haunted the streets of Daggerfall City, looking for vengeance.
I see.
A king mysteriously murdered wanders the streets at night calling for vengeance. Where have I heard that one before?
I wouldn't know. But yeah, oh, Pixel?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, but yeah. So basically, what happens is at the end of Daggerfall, there's some time fuckery that happens. I assume through resolving the assassination of that Underking.
So, Underking and Lysandus aren't exactly the same fella.
Okay.
The Underking is kind of like a sort of long-standing boogeyman with a couple of origin stories. But
to explain the what happened in the Warp of the West, we have to explain essentially Daggerfall.
Yeah, it's like the warp. To explain the Warp in the West, we have to explain the events of Daggerfall.
And we also have to veer somewhat into Morrowind as well, and other such things.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for the ride.
Because we're gonna run into the big, cool, giant robot thing.
Wait, there's a big, cool, giant robot thing?
There's a big, cool, giant robot thing. We didn't tell you about the big, cool, giant robot thing? There's two of them. One of them never got finished.
Was the other one created by dwarves?
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense with what I know of the dwarves.
Yes. The dwarves made a really big robot.
A really powerful robot.
A really, really scarily powerful robot.
Yeah, the dwarves basically broke all the rules and made their own, like, artificial god of atheism.
Damn.
That's also a giant mech that looks like a Sumerian king.
Damn, that's really cool. Hell yeah, god of atheism.
A god of facts and logic.
Yeah, Numidium is basically like the Dwemer's own god of facts and logic, and it doesn't care about your feelings.
Damn.
So, yeah, Numidium was created way before the events of Daggerfall, and was quote-unquote completed at the time of the Battle of Red Mountain. And the thing that the King of the Dwarves and the lead architect of the Dwarves did around the time that they activated it, they essentially flipped a switch they shouldn't have, and every dwarf just vanished simultaneously. And depending on who you ask, their sundered souls became the power source of Numidium.
Or its skin.
Or its skin, yeah.
It's a giant robot with skin.
Skin.
Skin metaphorically.
Oh, okay.
I just realized that not everyone who listens to the podcast is gonna get the reference of why I just said skin like that.
I reference that fucking video like every chance I get.
There's like a video of malfunctioning.
It's like one of those little plush toys with like a speaker in the middle with the batteries dying out. So instead of saying whatever cute phrase it says, it just goes skin.
It's just I just realized that I'm just gonna sound like an insane person when I just because that's not like a reference to Elder Scrolls already. Anyway.
Yeah. So Numidium is a giant mecha with like incredible powers that can destroy armies and level cities and shit. And the Tribunal, who are the gods of Morrowind, handed over Numidium to Tiber Septum during his conquest of Tamriel, in exchange for him giving Morrowind its own autonomy. And then he kind of used the god robot to subjugate the rest of the continent.
Well, that turned out really well for Morrowind, at least.
Everything's going up Morrowind house.
Everything's coming up 6 houses.
Oh, it's 5 houses at that point.
No respect for the House Unmourned.
Yeah, that's right. They're the House Unmourned, pouring out for House Dagoth.
You absolutely are not obligated to pour one out for House Dagoth.
You don't have to hand it to House Dagoth. Oh god, because so much of this stuff is intertwined with the lore established in Morrowind, we're gonna like keep calling back to it until we get to it. Mm-hmm. And it is gonna be a font of shit to talk about.
Yeah.
So yeah, now Numidium, after Tiber Septum conquers Tamriel and establishes the Third Empire, the Numidium vanishes.
Damn.
However, it's not until a while that we learn that like sorceresses and seers and spies and shit uncover like various tools and pieces related to Numidium, such as the Totem of Tiber Septum, which is basically like the keys that make the robot go.
Wait, so I'm gonna choose to believe that this is like an actual, like a car key with like a little, like a totem pole version of Tiber Septum, like inscribed as a keychain.
It's just got like a little like cartoon figure
foot?
of him like hanging off it.
God. I like your interpretation a lot, because the actual thing is just like a rod with a face on it.
Damn.
Well, we'll say it's a very elaborate key fob.
Yeah. Yeah, they had that in Morrowind times? That's wild.
Oh, depending on who you ask. They had like cars and trains and shit before the Elder Scrolls started.
Looking at the sprite of it in the old game, it kind of looks like a baby, like a swaddled baby, but like a man.
I love medieval babies.
Right?
Let me see. Oh, yeah, it sure does look like a baby.
What if we just make this the thumbnail image?
I'm gonna draw something with that in it for the thumbnail, yeah.
Just look at this little thing. This should be the icon for the Discord.
We change it from the Imperial Dragon to the little baby man.
Yeah.
So yeah, the like Totem of Tiber Septum was kind of like its whereabouts were like hinted at, and like people realize it's somewhere in the Iliac Bay region, which is where Daggerfall is set, and thus began sort of a like race to see who could get it first, because if you get access to Numidium, you kind of become a god.
Wait, did you say that the Numidium like vanished though?
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing. The Totem of Tiber Septum allows you to command it, and it's assumed that once you grab it, you can like finding a Numidium will be pretty easy.
Yeah, like do the beep beep thing.
It's a self-driving super mech.
Gotcha.
Autopilot god machine.
You get the totem, you get it powered up, you fucking press the button, the car drives to your location.
Damn. Wait, how was the driver software back in those days? Like would it like make a real mess of it? Because I'm assuming it's pretty big.
For the when you have to update the drivers on Numidium, you gotta update every individual dwarf. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I hear ya.
So, the main character of Daggerfall is, like all the Elder Scrolls games, kind of vague. And it's assumed that they were an agent of the Blades working for the Emperor at the time, Uriel Septum VII. Yeah, Big Seven, he's the Emperor in all the games except Skyrim.
Correct. He is the just what most people will think of when they think of the Emperor is usually Uriel Septum the Seventh, because he's just had the most screen time, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a guy who dies at the start of Oblivion, right?
Yes.
Okay,
that is
gotcha.
him. His last moments. Yes. Essentially, yeah. Legitimately, in Daggerfall, he was rocking the Picard look, like
nice
bald head. They pretty much just found some guy who looked a little bit like Picard and had him do the full motion video.
Ooh. I didn't realize there was full motion video in that old game.
No, it was not. I don't actually know the terms.
The opening cutscene to Daggerfall is an FMV, but the rest of the game is all sprite based.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean that's what I mean.
Like, I didn't realize.
Like,
people in the comments.
Bro, it's a crusty movie in a video game from the 90s on DOS. That's like, if it's not FMV by some stupid nerd technicality, it's FMV in spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, the FMV. I'm sorry about the pronunciation.
No worries.
The important stuff with the Dragon Break and the Warp in the West is basically the very lead up to Daggerfall and the very end of Daggerfall. The stuff in the middle we can kind of gloss over because it's a little glossed over. So the Totem of Tiber Septum was sought after by a lot of fellows. However, Zurin Arctus, who was like one of the lead battle mages of the Empire, put a magic seal on it during its creation, so that only those of royal lineage or those with a special supernatural affinity could even wield the damn thing. And if one of the common rabble, or if someone who doesn't meet the criteria, tries to summon Numidium, try to activate the totem, they will suffer a mortal wound, which will become relevant with other artifacts.
That's kind of harsh. Gotta say, that's kind of harsh. Kill people who are too I guess, poor and not noble enough to drive this giant robot.
I mean, do you want anyone to that gets their hands on the totem to be able to activate the god robot and take over the world?
It's the fair thing to do.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, you found it first. All right, fair enough. Destroy the Ourbus.
So, a lot of people in the region really wanted this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Uriel the Seventh and the Blades wanted to get their hands on it first to bring Numidium back into Imperial hands and use it to pacify High Rock and Hammerfell. Gortwog Gronagorm of the Orcs wanted to recreate the lost Orcish homeland of Orsinium and have orcs assimilated into the Empire, because before Morrowind, orcs were not playable, and I know in Arena especially they were just enemies. And I know in Daggerfall that you can find some orcish enemies, and it's a little hard to ingratiate yourself with them, I think, but there are friendly orcs, because of course there are, because you can work for one of them. Then there is the Underking, that magical boogeyman, who wants to reclaim his heart, the Mantella, which is an incredibly powerful magic gem that acts as the crux of making Numidium work. And Underking wants to get the Mantella for himself, as long with the Totem of Tiber Septum, and finally be able to rest in death instead of being this undead boogeyman.
So wait, so he's a ghost due to stuff he still needs to do, but that stuff is to basically take over the giant robot? Am I misunderstanding, or is that?
Nah,
is
he
that
just
not
wants the shiny rock inside of it, right?
No, the Underking is
Okay.
no, the Underking and Lysanis aren't necessarily the same.
Yeah, they're different people.
So King Lysanis is a ghost. The mystery of who killed King Lysanis is the like official reason your character is sent to Daggerfall. But the main story after you resolve that inciting story is the totem.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So the story of King Lysander. I haven't actually played through all of
Yeah,
Daggerfall.
spoilers for Daggerfall.
Late spoilers for the entire plot of Daggerfall. The entire plot of every Elder Scrolls game,
Basically.
pretty much. Even some of the like side games like Battlespire.
Yeah, so the Underking, he was more important, arguably, in life, but he's this very ancient undead who wanted to rest in peace. Then you have Manny Marco, who he can be an entire episode unto himself.
Manimako, the King of Worms!
Fucking Virgin Oblivion Manny Marco versus Chad Daggerfall Manny Marco.
Truly, they're just. I refuse to believe that that's the actual Manimarco. I just
Right?
think that that's
He's like
guy.
such a chump compared to original Manny Marco. Yeah, Manny Marco is an incredibly powerful and ancient necromancer, and he wanted the totem not for Numidium, but so he could hijack the Mantella and become a god.
Okay, so you wanted to take the heart of the god of facts and logic to become god of, I guess, necromancy or something?
Correct.
That's really cool. I fully support this endeavor.
You know what? Fair enough.
Pixel is now a member of the Worm Cult.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to do a lot of episodes on Manimarco. He's also the main antagonist of the primary story of Elder Scrolls Online.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, Manny Marco is kind of all over. He's a big deal.
He's one of the main players of the series. He's done a bit better in online.
I feel like him in Oblivion was like fan service more than anything else.
Yeah, that was just like, hey, remember this guy?
Right, and then so that's the Empire, that's the Underking, Manimarco, and Gortwog of the Orcs. But there are a few other people, the other like kingdoms and nobles in the Iliac Bay. We have Queen Akarithi of Sentinel, King Edver of Wayrest, Queen Baranzaya of Wayrest, and King Gothrid of Daggerfall.
I see. So, okay, so I thought the King of Daggerfall was the one who died.
Yes.
This is like a new king?
King Gothrid inherited the throne from King Lysander.
Okay, so King Lysander wants the keys to the giant robot, but so does his son?
Yeah. Gothrid is the son of King Lysander and Queen Minisera.
I see.
Wait, so Lysander does want the key, right?
Lysander just wants vengeance. He just wants to rest.
He just wants vengeance!
And I would argue that keeping the totem out of the hands of Gothrid is part and parcel of that. Because I think if I'm not mistaken, one of the ways you can put Lysander to rest is to kill Gothrid.
Wow.
Because I think Gothrid is the guy who had Lysander assassinated. Don't quote me on that.
That reminds me, I should play that, Daggerfall Unity upgrade. The one that just makes it run on a modern engine.
Yeah, if you want to play Daggerfall Unity, I recommend... Or if you want to play Daggerfall nowadays, I recommend using Daggerfall Unity. It's just a lot of internal and engine improvements.
Quality of life stuff, and just kind of... It operates a bit more like a modern game, so you don't have to figure out the controls.
Yeah, because I assume it's one of those games where you look with the keys on the keyboard instead of like the mouse.
I mean, yeah, it was released at a time when mice were
Yeah.
cool.
And also you click and drag the mouse to swing your sword.
Yeah,
I like that.
it's a very
Yeah,
contentious
you
part
can
of Dagger
keep it
Falls
on.
interface. Some people like it, some people just test it.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It reminds me of like this old PS2 game I used to play, which you control a giant robot, and each arm is controlled by the sticks. Like the left stick controls the left arm, and the right stick the right arm, and like you need to do like circles and quarter circles to like punches.
That's kind of cool. I remember
Yeah.
there was this indie game called Tory Bash.
Oh yeah, that was a cool little toy. I never managed to be any good at it, like in like proper fights though.
I wanted to just play it with my friends, but like I wasn't able to set up a room. I think it's just because I made a joke room, but yeah, someone just snuck into the room with my friend and just demolished us by grabbing our armpits, and I didn't want to play the game anymore.
I hate it when a stranger demolishes my armpits.
Yeah, he just grabbed us by the armpits, which Tory Bash counted as like a complete grapple, and I was like, and I couldn't do anything, so I died. Anyway, back on topic.
Yeah. So, yeah, Queen Akarithi wants the totem for Sentinel and for Hammerfell in general. Edvir and Gothrid want it for Voyrest and Daggerfall respectively, so High Rock can become the bigger power. And in true Breton fashion, there's a tug of war for power in High Rock. However, so you can side with 7 different people for 5 different endings, and this is a little difficult to reconcile if you're trying to have a continuous narrative. So you can do one of two things here. You can pick a canon ending and have all the other endings be playable but not relevant in later games, or you can come up with the Dragon Break.
Gotcha. But like, is there a dragon actually involved, or is it just like a name?
Dragon, as in Akatosh, as in Alkosh, as in the god of time.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it is like basically the god of time went and saw like, oh, I guess there's like 5 different ways this could play out. I'm just gonna like not pick one and just like make a weird tiny
No.
weird.
It's more like it's
No. So
yeah.
Akatosh broke.
Oh, okay.
The god of time broke.
Damn, I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
All these mortals fighting over the the power of godhood. They inadvertently took poor Akatosh behind the shed and beat him over the skull with a shovel.
Damn.
Yeah. And since, gods in Elder Scrolls are fairly linked to their concepts, doing something like that causes issues.
Yeah. After everything was said and done, there ended up being a lot of fuzzy, hazy memories and a lot of strange continuities because all 5 endings ended up happening.
All 5 endings and also several more that they just don't talk
So
about.
Manamarco is now a god. High Rock and Hammerfell are a lot more faithful to the Empire. The warring states of High Rock kind of unified into several larger warring states instead of like they reverse balkanized basically, but they are still like constantly at each other's throats. The Underking is at rest, and Orsinium reformed, and orcs became citizens of the Empire.
And some of the greatest soldiers in the Empire, actually.
Yeah, orcs ended up, like, fucking skyrocketing from being, like, pariah folk to, like, shock troops and renowned smiths.
Yeah, kind of a backbone of their army in terms of logistics.
Yeah.
So basically, from what I understand, it basically all the best things that could happen, like in this scenario, happened. Or am I completely off the track?
I
guess so. I mean, in terms of everyone getting what they wanted.
Yeah, the best things, like Manny Marcos becoming a god.
It's just that.
I mean, listen, I think this guy, Manmarco, probably is happier now that he's a god, right?
Yeah, I mean...
More happiness equals more better men.
Oh, like that one fucking comment about the guy getting his bike stolen, but it's like, I was sad that my Mantella was stolen, but then I thought, that Mantella belongs to someone else who's really happy, and there's more happiness in the world now.
You just gotta weigh that against the potential unhappiness of the souls that he is bent to his will, unnaturally, with dark magics.
Oh, right, because the fucking robot is made of souls. I forgot about that part.
But also, Manny Marco was a necromancer.
And also he's now the god of bending souls to your will.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's a living.
Hey, it's a living, I say as I go into the baby crushing factory.
That I built with my own 2 hands. That no one asked me to build and in fact told me to never build, please.
Oh, God.
It's a living.
Yeah, so the results of the Dragon Break also include everyone trying to talk about it being very confused.
Yeah, it's like everyone just, like, you go from there being just no real concept of time to then having a concept of time again. And trying to, relate.
You know the Mandela effect? What if that was real?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that's the best way to explain it, I think.
What if the Mandela effect was real and everyone felt it?
Yeah, and instead of, like...
I mean, the Dragon Break also did other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole book about just, like, the crazy stuff that happened.
Are you thinking of Where Were You When the Dragon Broke?
Where Were You When the Dragon Broke, yeah. Where Were You When the Dragon Broke is a collection of various interviews and accounts from the event itself.
Yeah, the quote I opened with was a Khajiit perspective on the Dragon Break.
Right, from the book.
I'm really sorry, but like the first thing that popped to my mind when you said like about this book is just like that country western singer guy who like sang about 9/11.
I mean, wow.
Like that's what
really
this is.
The 9/11 of the Elder Scrolls universe.
Yeah, there was the before and the after.
Yeah.
Oh, we got some spicy takes. Manny Marco is better off and happy in a good thing. It's a living at the baby factory and the 9/11 of Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. So we have 4 main accounts that we get.
Well, actually, we have one main account. We also have a Dunmer, a Cyrodiil, and a Necromancer account.
No, that's the tender to the main, honey. The main, unfortunately, was not available for interview at the time. So we have Korax, a member of the Elder Council of Cyrodiil, Mehra Nabisi, Dunmer, Mistress of the New Temple. We have the person we opened with, the tender to the main, and finally Manmarco himself.
Damn, they got the god to do an interview. That's amazing.
They probably got someone to like channel Manmarco.
Oh, okay.
No, I
still.
like to imagine he just showed up.
He just shows up with like.
He's like, "Hey, I heard you were writing this book. You want my perspective?" Cause
He just pops down on Cyrodiil during his special night of the year. He's got like a Starbucks drink filled with like literal worms. He's like, "Yo, do you want my? I'll interview for like $5."
No, he just like came to this guy's door. That's what I want to imagine. I just want to imagine he like showed up one night and was like, "Hey, my name's Mana Marco. I heard you were writing this book."
The one from it's the Mana Marco from Oblivion.
No, just the legit one.
Well, the thing is, there ended up being so Mana Marco was a weird case because he ended up splitting into Mana Marco the God and like Mana Marco the husk of a lich on Mundus. So there's two aspects of Mana Marco running around now.
Right. Anyway, here's what Mana Marco had to say. The 3 thieves of Morrowind could tell you where they were. So could the High King of Alinor, who was the one who broke in the first place. There are others on this earth that could too. Ysmir, Pelinal, Arnaud the Fox, or should I say Arctus. The last dwarf would talk, if they would let him. As for myself, I was here, and there, and here again, like the rest of the mortals during the Dragon Break. How do you think I learned my mystery? The Marukati selectives showed us all the glories of the dawn so that we might learn simply, as above, so below. So, the 3 thieves of Morrowind are the 3 living gods.
So, I mean, assume one of those the gods is Akatosh, god of time. No. Who are the other 2?
Nope.
No?
Oh, we're gonna have to do a whole episode on
the gods,
CV.
Yeah, CV are like their own thing, separate from the Aedra and Daedra.
Yeah, the thing about Elder Scrolls is that there are many overlapping belief systems, and since the gods actually exist in this setting in like a physical sense, they interact.
Right, like kind of like Mana Marco just showing up to get interviewed.
Yes.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm like a priest of this deity, and it's like this or this, like they just show up in the back.
Yeah, the Aedra don't like to do this as much. They will sometimes have like avatars appear during like very important quests.
It's not so much that they dislike it, it's that they can't.
Well, the Aedra themselves don't disappear, but they send avatars.
Yeah, they have to do this because a certain someone messed everything
up. A certain someone who should be rotting in a mountain, but he ain't!
We're gonna have to do... We will also be doing an episode explaining that. The big hoodwinking of the gods.
Ooh.
The goofy shenanigans.
I love goofy god shenanigans.
Oh, absolutely. It's great. This series is replete with it, as you can tell.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls, and also this podcast, because we're going to have to cover a lot of these because they're fun and interesting and relevant.
I guess to explain who the 3 thieves are, let's have the Triune Mistress of the New Temple explain a bit of it. Let's give her account next.
Right, Mevra Nabisi, the Dunmer perspective on the Dragon Break. Accounts of the Middle Dawn are the province of the Empire of Men, and proof of the deceit that call themselves the Aedra. 8 stars fell on Tamriel, 1 for each iniquity that Lorkhan made clear to the world. Veloth read these signs, and he told Boethia, who confirmed them, and he told Mephala, who made wards against them, and he told Azura, who sent Amsivi to steer the true folk clear of harm. Even the 4 corners of the House of Troubles rose to protect the periphery of your madness. We watched our borders and saw them shift like snakes, and saw you run around in it like the spirits of old, devoid of math, without your if-thens, succumbing to the ever-now like slaves of the slim folly, stasis. Do not ask us where we were when the dragon broke, for of all the world, only we truly know, and we might just show you how to break it again.
So that's... I'm not sure who that is that wrote that, or rather said that.
That was a high priestess of a temple.
Okay, gotcha.
Essentially, what we can glean from her account is that Morrowind was largely unaffected by the dragon break compared to other regions.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Whether this is because of the protection of their Almsivi, or whether this is just because Dunmer are built different and are better at dealing with non-time, is ambiguous.
So, just so I get it clear, the Dragon Break lasted like basically the entire length of time that the Daggerfall takes.
No.
No? Okay. How long was the Dragon Break like proper?
It's not clear.
That's the wrong
You're
question.
Okay.
How do you measure time when time doesn't work?
Right. So what I mean is, did it feel like an instant or like a lifetime?
Yes.
Cool.
Basically,
That answers my
imagine
question
before and after
perfectly.
the dragon break like flipping a switch, and what happened during is a mystery.
Okay. Yeah.
But you
like,
also remember every second and every century of it.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of like how you like turn a light switch on or off. Like you can't get it in the mid. You can't get it like halfway on, right?
Yeah, like
Right.
it's the duration of the dragon break is unknowable, but like the before and after, it would seem like an instant.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that answers my question perfectly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the overall like event, the big dragon break that occurred at the end of Daggerfall is referred to as the Warp in the West, and is the most iconic of all the dragon breaks. There's like 2 or 3 of them, but none as severe as the Warp in the West.
Yeah, because like I would expect, like if a Dragon Break is kind of like how they deal with multiple endings in a game, like on a like strictly mechanical method, there would be at least one per game.
Yeah. Thing is, Morrowind only has the one ending, and Arena only has the one ending, as does Oblivion.
Okay.
And Skyrim really only has a couple things you can really affect.
Skyrim, you don't really have much that you affect at all, and like the plot is the same.
Like, which person wins, essentially. You know, yeah, that's kind of the same thing that was going on in Daggerfall, but with less factions.
Does the red team or the blue team win the side story? The main plot is unaffected.
Yeah, yeah.
There's one other one other dragon break supposedly, and it's an ESO thing, and I'm not very familiar with the plot details of ESO, but
Could you refresh me? Because is that just like the inciting incident of it, or
the Middle Dawn.
let me see.
Basically, it's considered the Dragon Break, where they try to split Ariel and Akatosh apart. But it's
Right.
unrelated to the Warp in the West. But yeah, ultimately, I think we've covered the bulk of the details for the Warp. Unless there's other questions, other things to ask or discuss.
I do have one question, and that is, what happened to the giant robot?
It fucking disappeared again.
Damn.
It's gone. It might come back.
Is the totem gone as well?
I don't actually know the answer to that question.
Huh.
The totem was lost again. During the Warp in the West, it was misplaced, and Numidium returned to the mysterious, unknown locations where it vanished to.
I like the wording, it was misplaced. That it implies that like they left it on a counter somewhere and it just kind of rolled
It
off.
rolled
and
off
fell
the
under.
counter and fell at an angle that allowed it to slip through dimensions.
Yeah.
I just love the idea of like,
Between the floorboards of the kalpas.
yeah, it's like oh yeah, like millions of years, not millions, like thousands of years later, it's like some guy like does like renovations on his house. And it's like, oh, what's this? And he finds it in a totem.
He just finds the key to God and then suffers a mortal wound.
Well, he only suffers the mortal wound if he tries to summon the god.
Yeah.
That's true. Alright.
That's about it.
That's a wrap.
That's the pod.
That is the pod. This has been an episode of the Abridged Anuad. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time, when we'll be discussing something else.
We have a lot of options, yeah.
Yeah, we brought up a lot of potential paths that we could go down. We brought up the CV, that is the three gods of
Talked about the
Morrowind.
dwarves again. We talked about.
We brought up the dwarves again, who are very related to the three gods of Morrowind.
Thank you for listening. I'm gonna cut it here.
Yeah. All right.
Bye, everyone.